how was it working with 50? Like working with him and then working with him.
Well, so working with him, because I feel his presence, I have not had, I want to show up for a guy like that. Why? Because I have an incredible amount of respect. You know, the guy, I don't know, I don't like to use the word intimidating a lot. There's not a lot of people that intimidate me. He doesn't intimidate me, but there's just a certain amount of intimidation.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy June Archer here, the Winner's Circle on ThisIs50.com. My special guest, Berto Colon. You may have seen him in Orange is the New Black, but recently you've seen him on Power Book 2. Yes, he is here, Lorenzo Tejada. But guess what? Kanan, you said you wanted to give him drip, but look at the drip. Look at the drip. Look at the drip.
Trying, man, trying. Thank you very much.
Berto, welcome to the show, man. How have you been, man, throughout this pandemic? How was the family doing?
Family is great. First and foremost, they're fantastic. Just got a call from the school from her just before I came on board. So yeah, they're doing great. You know, 8th and 7th graders, they're healthy, they're good to go. Wife is good, working from home, just living, man. You know, adjusting, adapting, and having the greatest year of our lives, right, as a family in this craziness, bro. I don't know how we've done it, but God's good.
But we did it. And you are a girl dad. So
girl dad.
So for you're the one sole individual in the house that may be overruled at any particular point in time. How does it feel?
Overruled.
Do you have an ally there?
No, I don't. I do not have an ally. I only have an ally when things are good. But, you know, that's the dichotomy of a perfect home. There has to be sides, you know. The man brings what the man brings, and the woman, mom, brings what she brings. And there's a different approach. And so there should be a balance and conflict at times, you know. And in a house where 3 girls and 1, I'm outnumbered, you know. It's just part of life. But I just have to... I got to figure out a way to kind of impose my will a little bit, because it's part of what's going to balance them.
No,
I
love that.
That's part of the deal.
I love that. Now, for you, you're very involved. Family is definitely first for you. One of your daughters, they play basketball. You are there. You're at the games. You highlight that. How was that experience for you to go from going on set, trying to be a great dad and father, but also supporting your girls in terms of what they want to see themselves do, and just encouraging them to be the best women of color that they could potentially be?
Well, I tell you, it starts with the fact that I had a mom and a dad that kind of did that first. And so they made the sacrifices, and they did what they had to do. Their life, at a very early age, 21 and 23, they became parents, and you know, the rest of their lives has been dedicated to us. And so in turn, no matter what I am, an actor, garbage man, or mailman, producer, record, hip-hop artist, doesn't matter. You make a commitment when somebody is yours, and that life is priority number 1, period. Like, end of story. If we all operate like that, we'd all be in a better place, you know what I mean? So credit to them, and credit to my wife also, and that upbringing is what's helping me, because regardless, no one's ever gonna take center stage over them.
Right.
You know? And so that's how you do it. You have to have that kind of, I tell her all the time, there's an emotional integrity that you got to have. You got to be honest. And they have tendencies to lie all the time. And I'm constantly like, you may be getting away with something now,
but later on,
you're not building a good body of work if you're just, you know, every time you got to get ahead in life, you're standing on like shaky ground or what they call it.
Foundation.
There's no foundation, you
right.
know. You've never told the truth, so you know.
And that kind of lives with you later on in life, because then people tend to not trust you. They tend to not want to give you opportunity.
You don't get anywhere in life that's meaningful, man. You know, if you build a life on lies, you know. So how could you? And as an artist, even more so. You know, from one day to the next, you're asked to do things that I do not like Lorenzo in any way, but I'm going to dive into that motherfucker, and I'm gonna figure out who he is every single time I'm tasked with doing that.
But I want to talk about this because, as you say, you're nothing like Lorenzo. There are certain basic foundational things that you do bring into that character.
Yeah.
We just talked about it.
Yeah.
Family. Lorenzo's all about family, and currently, without giving anything away, if you haven't seen it, you got to tune in.
Yeah.
but he is home. I'm sorry, I had to give that out.
Yeah.
If y'all that far behind,
It's okay to reveal what's already happened because
Right.
it's already out there. But yeah.
So he's home and he's about family. He's about his daughter, Diana.
Yeah.
Like making sure you want to go to school. I am gonna make you sentimental, babe. You ain't gotta even.
You
hustle
got to
no
wear
more.
it. Yeah,
You
no.
gotta
That element, that's what yeah. I mean, in fact, as he's a provider, you know, at some point in his early life, perhaps someone provided for him. So
Right.
so we all take that with us. How he has shaped his life and what he's opted, what his choices are definitely not conventional and definitely not something that I would recommend or romanticize because it's not something that I would want to do. But there are characters in our society that do what he does. And that doesn't mean that they're less human. And as an actor, that's all I have to tap into without speaking too much about,
Right.
you know, what I tap into is what makes that guy tick and what drives him. And at the end of the day, love, right? Love and protection and providing. He's a provider, but he's in the game. And
Heavy.
He's heavy in the game. And I think one of the things that I had the benefit of from early on is to, you know, the writers, they're having their creator's ear also helps out a lot because you may have ideas about a performance, but there's nothing like you understanding where that performance comes from and the
Right.
ideas that kind of shape that character in order for you to then infuse your own thing to it, right?
Now, along that journey, though, did you, for a lot of people that may not know, don't know the history, Puerto Rico, born, states here, New York, Jersey, right? And a mom who migrated from Puerto Rico. Did you see a Lorenzo in your community, whether it was Puerto Rico or here?
Yes, of course. I saw a lot of different types of Lorenzos. I grew up with kids who were like, you know, playing marbles with me when I was 13. By the time they were 17, they were big time guys. There was a guy in my block who actually got picked up by the feds. My family witnessed choppers and cops, and he happened to be like the guy in my town. So yeah, I've been around some crazy shit. You know, grew up in the Bronx. I came here in the Bronx, and I seen some crazy stuff there too. You witness those people. You see those people. You know, you don't have to live those experiences to know the effect that experience has on
Families,
on
communities.
family, on everyone else, and communities. How that community then judges me as the other Puerto Rican guy or someone else who came from there. Like, that's already an image that they have, that they've already formulated an entire opinion about someone that they may not know based on someone else.
Right.
You know? So, I mean, it's provided a lot of like richness in my life, you know, for lack of a better word, because it's not richness, but you see a lot of colors, you see a lot of things. And, you know, you value life more because I've seen what I know I don't want to become, you know?
Right.
So I value what I do want to become even more.
And you take that energy and put it into sports. And you're an athlete. You go on to play football at Fordham University.
yeah.
And did well until injury halted.
Curveballs, another challenge. There's always a stumbling block. And, you know, sometimes for some people it comes later. And for me, it happened early to hard periods because I was a junior, all city, all world, all borough going into my senior year already. And I blew my knee out the first day of camp. And so that was traumatizing. I can't,
Has to be.
to this day. And then in college, hurting the other side. You know, I hurt my other knee. So I went from hurting my left knee with this incredible, you know, future on paper, right?
Right.
Prospect, to then have to deal with not playing. And then, you know, thankfully had enough done in my sophomore and junior year to get into college, and then into college the first year feeling it again. So it's one hurdle after the next. It was for me.
Right.
And so just you have to get through it.
Now, taking that mental perspective as an athlete and what it means to continuously want to do better, be better, whether it's physically and mentally, how do you take that and transform it and turn it into what you're doing as an actor?
Well, because the work that I'm doing now is like anything else, it's a process. And so in order to have a performance which lasts, I don't know, if you take the analogy of hours of shooting to making a 50-second scene, then the same analogy would be right for the amount of work that you have to put in order to prepare to create those 50 seconds. And that's the same thing we do, and that's the same thing we do, right? When you prepare for, you practice all week, how many hours? How much film do you watch during the week? How much scouting do you do? All those hours to be in a 3-hour game and you're actually active, physically active in a football game for maybe all of 20 minutes. You know that because you
Right.
know the game. It takes 3 hours to play a full game, but you physically,
Right.
your level of intensity has to be 100% for about 20, 25 minutes.
At the bare minimum.
At the bare, yeah. It's a minimal number compared to all the hours, okay? So just process. For me, what I value most and what I bring into it is all that I learned from understanding that that process is almost as important, if not more important than the games themselves.
Right. Right.
The practice, like, I tell the story all the time. You know, in high school, I used to go to sleep with my thigh pads and my football pad. I don't know why. I did nothing.
Because you were
I
you
was
were
just completely
engrossed
fucking
in it.
Engrossed in it.
But we don't. I maybe, and I could be doing. This generation is a little different. They do push the buttons, but I remember going to sleep with a soccer ball. I had the soccer ball, basketball with me. The glove was in the bed with me, right? So you were trying to, they would say now, you were putting it out in the universe. You were predicting it. You were living it, sleeping, eating it, drinking it. I want to ask you this though.
Some
Berto.
obsessions are not bad.
No, they're not.
Some are not that bad.
They're not that bad. But blowing out both knees and looking good on paper and trying to figure it out, what did you lean on? There are people that are going through things right now.
Yeah.
They're losing their homes. COVID is affecting them. Death may be around them. For you, what did you lean on in those times when you were like, man, I should be out on that field? Whether you let yourself down, whether you felt you let your family down, whether you felt like you let your boys down that were on the team, what did you lean on? Something spiritual, something more faithful?
Definitely the spirituality and all that stuff comes from me, from the root and the ground, which is my parents, man. It's not a big secret. And not just my parents. Growing up in a home in Puerto Rico where I had my grandmother present and my grandfather present too. And and my parents were divorced, man. So it didn't matter. I knew my grandparents. I knew my grandparents' brothers and sisters. I knew them as uncles.
Goes back to the foundation.
It goes back to the foundation.
Yeah.
So in the darkest of moments, when you're sitting there and I don't know, my wife was talking to me this morning about, these kids have no hope and the generation is different. I don't know, man. And I don't mean to be callous when I say this, but you have to kind of feel a little bit of pain once in a while.
I think
being
necessary.
humble.
Necessary.
There's a root. The word humility. I'm afraid to say it, but humility and humble have kind of like the same root. You should feel at some point in your life a little bit of, I don't know what it's like to be humiliated, right?
Right.
And I don't
feeling lost,
as an 8-year-old getting out of line in class and being humiliated because now you're being called out in front of like 20, 30 kids. That's humiliating for a kid.
Yeah.
That's healthy. They should feel that. They're disrupting and they're causing chaos to an entire group.
And in turn.
And in a place where you shouldn't be doing it also.
You should feel that.
And that's okay to feel that. It seems like with this generation, we're shying away from that because we're afraid of the repercussions of what that is going to create.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to create a lot more accountability than the kind of pain that's going to say, go out and jump in front of do something drastic to yourself.
But why do you think we're doing? I just finished.
I think we've gotten softer. To be honest with you, I think we've gotten softer. I don't mean to be.
But where does that come from? And I only ask because
let's go back to the root. It goes back to the base. Maybe a lot of broken homes. Maybe
Okay.
not having a balance.
Okay.
I can only speak to you. My opinion is for me. It's all based on that, the groundwork and how important it is to have that foundation at home.
Gotcha.
And a lot of people can do whatever they want with that. I mean, listen. My parents were divorced. We had to make a big compromise. My parents, and they had to teach us the same amount of love as if they were in a complete home.
Right.
The same amount of everything, all the values, the manners, everything that you would teach. Just because you're divorced, it doesn't mean that you can just let all that shit go out the window.
Right.
You have to work still. Because again, it goes back to that idea that these people you're not here for yourself anymore. You're
Right.
here for them. And that's the biggest job anyone has. How many crazy 12, 13, 14-year-olds you knew growing up with? Did they end up well? A lot of them did, a lot of them didn't.
Right.
Guarantee you that most of them that ended well was someone that they had a mom. And they had someone that when they felt bad about their behavior, they were remorseful or shameful to go home and have to face that mother or have to face that father when they were fucking up.
Right. Are you that diligent reprimanding your kids as you were reprimanding?
100%.
Okay.
I don't slip. Because then that's falling back on bullshit. That's falling back on me becoming a prisoner and a result of what I am completely against is teaching now. Me slipping is, I wouldn't be able to complain and say, oh, this generation doesn't understand now. I'm not taking an active role in making sure that they don't get the wrong message. So I don't slip.
No, that's dope. So now I want to talk about Lorenzo, right? Power Book 2. Lorenzo has 3 children, 3 different mentalities.
Yeah.
How do you take that myriad of perspectives? Diana wants to be in the game. She really wants to go to school. She wants to learn this thing. Dre, I could do it. I could do without it. I have this alternate lifestyle. And then you got, of course, Kane.
Kane, he's all about it.
I should be the heir to this throne, right?
And so you have, as a parent, you teach them all in their respective lanes, right? Like,
right.
I can't pretend, you can't treat Kane like you would Drew. And as a parent, and as anyone who's got kids, you know, we teach from our experiences, right? Like what we felt, and I adapt those experiences in a way that I think that I can then teach them how to kind of navigate what I navigated,
Right.
taking into account who they are, as who Kane is, who Drew is, and who Diane. Every person gets taught in their lane because they are completely different people. And yeah, we also, there's a tinge of our own goals or as a parent or as a father,
Right.
what we also want for
Right.
them.
For them.
So we kind of,
Try to navigate
we push
it.
things on them.
Yeah.
You
We
know,
pull the
do-
strings from the
yeah,
back.
we do things on purpose to hopefully they'll get it because that's on us because we want that
Right.
for that.
We want better for them.
Yeah.
We want more for them.
Or,
more than what we had.
I need to make sure that Kane is tough as nails because this kid, the benefit is like he doesn't have empathy. That's a benefit. I need to hone in on that and make sure that this guy never feels any remorse.
Right.
That's his strength. Drew, the guy's a thinker. And Lorenzo knows who he is. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
He's a little more calculated than Kane.
Yes. And he can make
those tough decisions.
He can make those tough decisions
Yeah.
without having to always get emotions involved. And he doesn't always want to like push through them. Sometimes the smarter force is to kind of wait until you can deliver a punch.
Right.
Instead of reacting to the first punch that you get.
There's a
you know?
strength in that.
There's a strength in that. And Diana, the same thing. She does things differently. And she's a beautiful woman of color. She's got these beautiful eyes. There's a lot that she says with her eyes, and I want something. I know, naturally, a man would want. What's my daughter, man? Like, I mean, this woman could be the queen of the world.
Exactly.
You know, like,
Exactly.
You kidding with all those attributes? I just, so that's what I try to hone in on. It's those relationships that I'm grateful that I've had them. And 48 years old, so I mean, hopefully by now I know a thing or two about certain
A little
things,
something
about that stuff.
So now let's talk about the amazing Mary J. Blige, who plays Monet. How is that working relationship? What does it feel like when you're sitting at a table reading with her? Like, what's that magic that happens? Because we see it on film, but I know there's got to be some, man, that's Mary J. Blige.
Yeah.
That's real love.
That's real. I mean, it's from day one, it's never like that feeling that you get of her. First of all, she commands just respect and presence no matter where she goes.
No matter what space.
No matter what space it is. I mean, you're talking about someone who's been making music for well over almost, I guess, 40 years, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing to say other than that's just queen, diva. That's all you can say.
She is that. She earned that. She earns that.
Yeah, talented in so many ways. A complex person, right? A history that has, it's been tough at times, and she's surpassed and continued to grow. And despite of certain things in her life, we all have that. We've all been able to do that. But she's artistic.
Yeah.
Above and beyond. Like anyone. When we sit at a table, though, I have to figure out a way to kind of like not let that in too much, because she's doing her homework too. Right. And she's figuring out Monet, and you see how she brings everything to Monet. Like, Monet is...
Yeah. Monet got some Yonkers in her, I can promise.
Yes, man. Like, she brings a lot of
There's hurt in there. There's remorse in there. There's
a
vulnerability
struggle
in there.
with the
a
kids.
struggle.
There's that power thing that she has with Lorenzo, all that stuff. So I cannot do anything but reciprocate that, and I have to be available in that way with Lorenzo. And the table reads are more of a feel. As an actor, the table read is more of a feel. The work really begins at home, right after that. hopefully, if you can, I've actually interacted with the guys, with Lavelle and Lavelle and Latoya and Woody. It helped a lot to actually do a little bit of like the Zoom thing, you know?
Right.
The work begins there, and then we get to set, and then you do more work there, and then it all kind of comes alive, kind of like right there in the moment. It's really very improvisational to a certain extent.
No, that's dope.
But
That's really dope.
but with her, that's how I feel like I have a big job. I have a big job, and I have to make sure that she has, that's her show.
Yeah,
her and
no,
Tariq.
y'all like the Kobe and Shaq of this thing. Like,
Exactly.
You gotta,
we're
gotta
a
bring
support.
it.
We are a support structure, and we have to those lives and the line of those characters. It's very important to continue to there's a story being told through them.
Right.
So it's important that us really are active in supporting that story and supporting those characters.
And you are in the Power universe
Yes.
now. A 50 Cent production. How was it working with 50? Like working with him and then working with him.
Well, so working with him, because I feel his presence. I have not had. I want to show up for a guy like that. Why? Because I have an incredible amount of respect. The guy. I don't know. I don't like to use the word intimidating a lot. There's not a lot of people that intimidate me. He doesn't intimidate me, but there's just a certain amount of intimidation. There's a little bit of respect. You're guarded. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're careful because you don't ever want to do something that guy might think. And he's not. I mean, from what I've seen and from what people tell me about him, he's not a judgmental person. But his talent speaks for itself.
Yeah.
And so you want talent like that to recognize your talent. You want that relationship to be based, because there's nothing greater. Like if a guy like that has
Respect for
you.
Listen,
What?
there's nothing
Is
else
this
left.
an interview or are we doing confessional here? No, but that's how I feel, because I've not had the opportunity to be with him on set that much. But we've had obviously some of the Zoom calls, and it's his show. But it's important to me, you know what? And I went back and I watched Get Rich or Die Trying, bro. And I swear to God, it's like, oh my God, this makes sense. That's motivation
Perfect
for
sense.
Lorenzo, like understanding a certain type of talent and bringing. That was a lot. That's a big film for me.
Yeah, he dives deep in that.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
It helped me dive into a lot of stuff that I think, as a result of what this season presented,
Right.
Whatever happens in the future, I have a lot of information now, more information than I would have had otherwise. It's like I get to know the writer, I got to know the talent, I got to know the minds that are creating this life, and so it's fuel.
Who or what inspired you to get into acting?
So the acting thing is something that kind of results out of that curve with the injuries in college, and I had my daughter's godfather is Mark Rodriguez. He's a brother, but not by blood. Just grew up with him. The second or third guy I met when I came to the States, and he's been my best friend since. He was studying film at SUNY Purchase. At the time, his aunt, his cousin was married to Larry Goen, who was head of propaganda films at the time. So him and Stephen Goen did propaganda. So he had a deep interest in the work.
Okay.
A connection already in LA, your family. I mean, that dissolved itself. I mean, his cousin is no longer married, but he had a dream, and so we all had a dream. And when he was doing the work in Purchase, I started kind of diving more into his film and more in the projects that he was doing up there.
Nice.
And that's kind of like when I started to do my stuff and like writing my little and taking all these alternative classes and all these other courses and video design and shooting I shot my first film in college. It was my final project. It sort of stemmed from that whole deviation of where I thought I was going, and then having all this palette of other interests that I had, him in film being one of them, and latching onto that and going on from there.
Dope.
And that's how it started. I got a job right after college, and I was working for New York Life, and I was working for a couple other companies. I did insurance for a small firm, EB Direct, which was trying to do the online thing.
Yep.
And I should have been paying more attention, because these people made a lot of. I just like you before we got on here. You talked about the things that LIU scholarship, but your mind was somewhere else, and that's how I felt working. I just had like. there's something happening over here, man. I should really listen to this
Right.
feeling, this
It taps you on the shoulder.
intuition, this instinct that I'm having to kind of follow, and that's how it was for me.
That's really dope, man.
Yeah.
And you want to inspire people with those stories, because sometimes people, as they get older and older, that voice is still there and they tend to not pay attention to it. So for you sharing that, for those who are watching and listening,
Yeah.
like, pay attention to that voice and make that happen. It's never too late to push the button. I want to ask you this. Lorenzo's home.
Yes, he is.
Wants to set up this meeting with Mecca.
Yeah.
Do you want that smoke?
I want all the smoke, as Tommy said. I want all the smoke. I can't.
I mean, because that's Monet's baby's daddy right
Yeah.
there, right? And so
He doesn't know.
allegedly,
He doesn't know.
we're not giving nothing away, but I just want to know, when that meeting takes place, if that meeting happens.
Well, I won't give away whether or not the meeting is going to. I'm only going to go as far as what's been revealed already. The prospect of that meeting is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah.
don't have to be and you could just watch the show from the day one and just say, oh. I mean, look at the way these writers, right? The
Yeah.
way they've constructed everything from day one.
Those two trains may have the
Those
potential.
two trains are on their way to kind of smacking each other head on. That's just been established.
Yeah.
There's a hunch. It's gonna be dope.
You want all that smoke?
Either way, it's gonna be
Lorenzo
dope.
say he want all that
No,
smoke.
I do. I enjoy the challenge. It's gonna be fun. I think the next 4 episodes are gonna reveal a lot. Again, just it's such a blessing to be part of this. Like, there's like such a cunning thing with these writers. Like, they just keep you in suspense, and they keep you motivated to want more. You know, it's really amazing. And hopefully we're bringing a little bit of dose of, like, we're legitimizing all that
Right.
work and all by bringing our own experiences and creating these characters. I think they're resonating with people, you know, like, in a humble way, standing kind of all the way out in a very humble way to say it. I think they're resonating with a lot of people, and I'm proud. I'm proud of that.
That's really dope. A lot of people don't know that you bartended, you still nice with it, and so it means using the clubs. Is there a 50 Cent verse that you like that you could spit? Is there a 50 Cent verse that you could spit for us?
Oh my God, dude. I'm so sorry, because I probably should have. I'm not gonna be right now. I can't think of one. There is what's the one song where I can tell you the part of the video that I like.
You can
So it's the one. He gets shot outside. What video is that? Well, he gets shot. He's in a video outside, and he's on
Which
top
video
of,
is that? Many men? Many men?
Yes.
Wish death upon me.
Many men. That one. That whole fucking tune. I can't sing it because, I'm sorry. I can't. I'm not gonna. I love the guy. I have his music. But I wouldn't be giving it any kind of justice if I started to try to rap here. So I won't do it.
All right.
But that theme, which kind of speaks to his life, right? And his music was his life. All of it to me is that's all the motivation I need.
It's all inspiring.
It's all the smoke I need, man.
Before I let you go, I want to inspire people.
Yes.
And if you can, and I want to switch it up. I want you to, the best piece of advice that you can give someone right now, to let them know that there's light at the end of the tunnel. But I want you to say it in Spanish, though.
En español.
Sí.
Bueno, pues lo único que puedo decir es que uno no se puede rendir. Para nada. Hay un refrán que decía mi abuela, mi abuelo, todos mis abuelos lo decían. Siempre para adelante, para atrás ni para coger impulso. Which to me, in English, is you always going forward. You never take a step back, not even to recoil and reset. Don't ever reset taking a step back. Reset right on the spot. Right. Like a scene. Like if you fuck up a scene, right? And you got to go right away. There's no starting from the beginning.
No.
You're kind of in some cases.
Right.
You're right in this point right now.
Jump
right
in.
from there, keep going. So en español, los dejo con eso. Manténganse siempre activos y pendientes en sus metas y no dejen que nadie los saque de su cauce para poder llegar a esa meta. Trata de alcanzar las estrellas y si llegas a una nube, ganaste. I hope I made sense of that.
That's what I'm talking about. And I didn't understand one word of it, but I'm going to play it back. I'm going to listen to it again. This is Berto Colon playing Lorenzo Tejada on Power Book 2 Ghost, Sundays on Stars. I'm your boy, June Archer. Thank y'all so much for tuning in.
Thank you, Mike. That was great.
I
really
appreciate you,
appreciate
bro.
you, man. Thank you.
Peace.